Did you guys hear my statistic this morning? I shared about 100% of the jobs lost in December were women.
No.
Yeah, isn't that staggering? That's statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. 140,000 jobs were lost in the month of December, and 100% of them were women.
Why is that? What?
The majority of them were in the hospitality and leisure business, and then a majority of the women jobs lost were minority. And then some of the other things were like women are staying at home for virtual schools and stuff like that. But I just am so impressed with this panel of our top 3 teams are women.
Well, that's a shocking number, though, and very disappointing to hear.
I'm just getting us set up on Facebook Live.
I wonder if that also has to do with the season in retail, as there was a lot of people who were let go after Christmas.
Maybe. Okay, ladies, we're going live. Yeah, we have one male on the show today, Mr. Jody Staples. So.
What about Troy?
It's not Troy, it's Andrea. So. Okay. I'm waiting for, she said she was running late. And so, Brooke, if you'll just watch for her to come into the room, and that way we can bring her in. And then, Becky, you're muted right now. Thank you, Jen. All right, guys, are you ready to get started? We're going to go ahead and get started without Andrea Hartmann of the Sandy Hartmann Group, who will be joining us. She's running a little bit late from a listing appointment. So, you know, that's a good thing, right? All right. So how are you guys doing today?
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. So because I've got a couple of the same questions, and then I'll have different questions for each of you as well. But then we'll get started with you. Just, you know, go ahead and tell us your name and how long you've been in the business.
Becky?
Oh, I thought you said Jen was starting.
Either one, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen.
Jennifer Orns, and I've been in the business, myself and my husband. We started our team back in 2011 when they told us it was absolutely crazy to get into the business. And what are you thinking?
Becky, Becky, tell us your name and what year you got started.
Becky McConnell, and I believe I got started right about the same time, 2010. And everybody asked me the same question. It was the worst time, and what are you thinking? So I think it was 2010.
Yeah, I think it was 2010. So, you know, I guess getting started at the worst time also helped you guys kind of build some of the best habits for the industry, which is, you know, a great sign, because look at where you are now. Congratulations. That's awesome.
I learned to look at it from a positive perspective, because I knew it could only go up from there. So
yeah.
Couldn't get much worse.
All right. So Jennifer, you got started in real estate in 2011. I know that you were in the mortgage industry prior to that. How long were you in the mortgage industry?
I had a business for 10 years prior to that.
Okay. And what year did you join Keller Williams?
We started out with another brokerage for a year, not even a year. We hit a ceiling for about 6 to 7 months with our first brokerage before we learned as much as they were willing to teach us. And then we started branching out to find someone else who was willing to teach us more, because they said that they were willing to teach us as much as possible, but they didn't have the tools. And we needed a lot more tools. And so we started branching out. And that's when we ran into Rachel, who really kind of yelled at us at first at a pitch session and challenged us. And so, we want to, and then we looked at each other and said, we want to interview with her.
That is actually a funny story because I remember it was Karen Lucas had a listing and you guys had pitched a buyer's need. And I just remember connecting you guys. I love those little connections like that. But yeah, look at where we are now.
But it was a great challenge because we were able to, oops, sorry.
What happened?
I had a phone call. We were able to learn from you right away, and we said, okay, she has a lot of knowledge. She understands what she was doing, and she sounded very intelligent. And so we said we wanted to interview with you. So it was a great introduction.
Well, I tricked you. No,
No, you're very intelligent.
All right, Becky, you're a homegrown girl, homegrown within Keller Williams. Jennifer had a brief stint outside of KW, but you're a homegrown girl, got started in 2010. Go ahead and describe to us your team size and like some of the positions, the roles that you have that help you function on your team.
So right now we have 3 buyers. I have a full-time admin. We have a part-time marketing. We have 3 buyer's agents working on 4. I have a full-time TC who is out on maternity, so it's fun, but kind of what we're dealing with right now. But oh, and we have another buyer's agent that's out on maternity too, so I can't keep track. Like,
you've got a bunch of COVID babies going on, huh?
Yes, for sure.
I love that. All right, so let me just keep looking for Andrea in here. And so Jennifer, what was the production level of your team in 2020? What was your volume and number of transactions?
We did a little over 41 million last year in volume, and that was 75 transactions.
Awesome. And what size is your team?
We have, actually, it's myself and my husband, and then we have 2 other agents, and we allow them to list and to be buyer's agents. And then we have a transaction agent, and this year we actually brought on, we just hired this week, she just started, because as we grew and we had so much success this year, we discovered that we really needed missing persons, and it was a great discovery, but we needed a director of operations. And so after a lot of interviewing, we found her, and we're so excited. She's huge talent for us, and it's amazing. I'm so super excited for her. She is going to be bringing us already within the very first week. She's saving us money. She is incredible talent. She's going to be bringing our business to a whole new level.
Awesome. That's great. That's exciting, isn't it?
Very, very. She's challenging me already.
Okay. And then Becky, what was your volume and number of transactions? What was your team's volume and transaction count for 2020?
We did a total of 123 units, and our volume was almost 51, like 50 million, almost 51.
Awesome. That's huge. So 123 transactions, 51 million. 2020 was not an easy year for a lot of realtors. And one of the things I want to pause and just point out is that in real estate, we're building businesses and careers. And I hope you guys heard that, there are a lot of roles and opportunities within this industry. Jennifer, you're bringing on director of operations, right? That's not something people think about typically when they think of real estate. And Becky, you've got marketing and transaction coordinator and administrative assistant, and so and maternity leave. Like, these are not things that we usually connect with real estate. So I just want to point that out to people to understand that big businesses like this create opportunities for others, and I love that. But with 2020, with the stay-at-home order right around the middle of March, I think it kind of took us all for a shock. And if you look at the stock market, like that time in the stock market just went boop, and then came right back up. And I think all of us did that with our mindset and our businesses in a way, like we had to pause and say, okay, what's my way forward? So Becky, with the activities of 2020 and the stay-at-home order, what were some of the changes that you guys made in your business?
Well, honestly, I mean, aside from the changes that we had to make, you know, due to COVID and the CDC and all of that, we really tried not to change too much, honestly. You know me, I had an attitude where I hate to say this, but I felt like I was kind of trying to stay in denial. Like, this isn't happening. We're just going to keep plugging along. Somebody that's been through the crash and all of that stuff, I wasn't going to allow myself to go there mentally. So I just kept doing what I always do. We had to change a few things. Honestly, a lot of things got easier. The care call, you know, the lead generation became easier because it was much easier to just call and check on people and make those kind of care calls. You know, we were just in the height of, you know, obviously our season starts in March, you know, so we were just hyping up for that. So we already had a lot going, and then the shutdown order came. So it really allowed us to just come in. We had so many clients that were out of town, that were stuck out of town. They couldn't get home to sell their houses. So it allowed us to just go in and do it ourselves, which sometimes is easier. So, but anyways, we just kept doing what we were doing, but just had to tweak things and change things a little bit.
Okay. So you said it was a little easier because your lead generation became care calls. You just explain to everybody what a care call is in case they don't know.
You know, just calling, you know, obviously this is, you know, a pandemic that's happening, and you know, calling all of your past clients, calling your friends, calling your family, just to check on them. Is there anything that I can help you with?
Yeah, absolutely. We found a lot of people, not only were doing that, but a lot of people needed to receive it. So that's great that you guys did that. So Jen, with you and your team, like, what changes did you guys make in your business? And I know Lonnie is also more susceptible than most, or, you know, it definitely falls in that category. And so you guys had to make some pretty significant changes. What kind of changes did you guys have to make?
We ordered masks with our brand on it. And I had gloves because in the beginning they said that gloves were necessary. Hi, Andrea. And so I literally had masks and gloves at every showing. We had a whole kit that we created for COVID. It was our COVID kit that we gave to all of our agents. And we put it all over our houses for our listings. And so we had COVID kits. And so that was totally huge. And then, you know, at one of my showings, actually one of the people, you know, I opened the door with a dress on and masks and gloves. And one of the people came up to it, and the agent said, the woman just ran back into her car because she was scared of you. And I'm like, I'm protecting you. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But it was, you know, I guess I looked goofy, but I didn't care because I was protecting, you know, and so we wiped down everything and we put it into all of our showings. And so we put it on the door of every one of our listings before we would show that this was our COVID guide. But we continued our business, and we continued with what we were doing, and we didn't stop. Yeah. And we pushed through, but we made sure that the rules were according to what we tried to make everybody safe and keep everybody safe, but we didn't stop until they told us to stop. They said no more open houses, and then we would stop. And then when they opened up open houses again, we would then open up open houses again, but we put the COVID rules on the door. And we put arrows. This is the way that you're going to go. And we put 2 agents in an open house and said, okay, you're stuck at the door until somebody else leaves for the open house. So we tried to make it so that everybody was safe. And if you didn't have a mask, we would supply you with a mask to go to the open house to be it. So we tried to keep everybody as safe as possible and as healthy as possible, but we didn't stop.
And that's what I heard with Becky too. You know, you both got started. You both had lives and careers that were impacted by the real estate crash. You got started in your real estate career like at one of the hardest times. And I think getting started at that time helped you see what we went through as, all right, this is just another little bump in the road. I'm not stopping. I'm just going to figure out how to get through it.
Well, because we had people that had contracts on their home and they had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to live. And so we had to help these people to move on. So they were desperate. And so they were calling us and saying, what do we do now? So we couldn't leave them just hanging and homeless.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is an essential part of our world. Welcome, Miss Andrea Hartmann.
Hi there. Sorry I was late.
That's okay.
Life of a realtor, you get stuck in longer appointments than you plan on sometimes.
It's completely understandable. We appreciate that you're here. So, Andrea, we just got started off with Jennifer and Becky telling us a little bit about themselves when they got started in the business, and then the size of their team. So, can you share with us, when did you get started in the business? I know kind of at birth, and and tell us about the size of your team.
Well, so Sandy Hartmann's actually my mother-in-law.
Okay.
So I've known her since, I don't know, since I was a teenager, because I grew up in Seminole and I met my husband when we were in high school, and we just coincidentally went to college together. But my first career actually after we graduated was in Washington, D.C., and somehow through word of mouth, I fell into real estate as a licensed settlement agent at one of the largest real estate law firms in Washington, D.C. So it was really interesting, even though I was on the other side of the transaction, dealing with the transactions there are a lot more different. There's a lot of NDAs. There's a lot of confidentiality that happens because you have like the head of NATO showing up to sign on a condo for his son, and nobody's allowed to know where anyone is. So it was really interesting. And it was in '04 at the peak of that really intense, really busy market. So, I got to see that firsthand. And then because I worked with a lot of the builders out there on their projects, I also got to see almost before the public knew, I was very aware that it was getting ready to crash. And then I left because my degree is actually in finance. So I saw that. I left as a settlement agent. I kept in touch with them, but I went to my career in corporate retail to use my finance degree. And while I was doing that, my husband was actually selling real estate on Capitol Hill. So I was always kind of indirectly involved. And then, we did our own investing on the side. So I stayed with that. And then probably about 6 years ago, Sandy wanted some help with the team and growing it. And we were out in San Francisco for work and then came here. And, it's been a rodeo ever since.
Awesome.
So
what was the level of production the Hartmann team did in 2020 with volume and transactions?
So we did just, I want to say, over 58 million and 150 transactions in 2020.
58 million and how many transactions?
About 150.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And most of that was done the second half of the year because the first half there was just that pause. So it was a little crazy because now we have that inventory issue too. And there's certainly more buyers than homes for sale, as we all know.
Yeah, there are. What's interesting is that, so Hartmann did 150 transactions, 58 million. McConnell did 123 transactions, 51 million. Orns did 41 million. 41 million with 75 transactions. So, it's average sales price and the area that you're all in definitely makes a difference. So Andrea, you're primarily in the Seminole area. Becky, you're out of the downtown office, and Jennifer, you're out of the beach office. So, I just wanted to bring that up because not everybody knows where you guys are. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that out there, and I'm trying to share you guys out there right now. All right. So now that did you guys, Andrea, have to make any significant changes in your business with COVID?
Yeah, I think we, really early on in March when this happened, it was definitely a shift for us because we do stuff, we're always in front of our clients and our past clients. And, 70% of our business often comes from our database every year. So not getting in front of them, not having the event, that was going to be hard. So, we just got on the phones. We started, sending out like just nice note cards telling people we were thinking of them. You know, we called and checked in, kind of like Jen and Becky were saying. I think we just, you know, really had to pivot and just reach out, you know, even though we couldn't do it in person any longer, we just kind of did it over the phone. We engaged in social media more. We just kind of did all those things that I think you're hearing a lot of people are having to do this year.
Yeah. You know, being leaders of a team during that process of going with stay at home and COVID and unknowns, yet but starting the year with big hopes and high expectations, what were some of the things that you guys noticed that were changes within the people that were working in your business, working on your team, and how did you have to adjust your leadership style? I'll let whoever wants to jump in on that one.
I think one of the biggest changes for me that was hard to get used to was, you know, my staff working from home. That was a big change that we had to kind of adjust and get used to. Not something that, you know, when you're paying people by the hour and they're working from home, that was a big adjustment. And the same thing, just trying to keep the team motivated because there were so many things going on and we wanted to keep everybody safe first and foremost. But at the same time, you know, we had clients that we needed to help. So, you know, just trying to keep everybody motivated, I think. And then there was a you know, a little bit of a lull where, you know, things were kind of quiet. And I think people were starting to get very concerned about the, you know, state of the economy, about the real estate industry, and really just trying to keep the team motivated throughout.
Yeah. And not only do you have to continue helping your customers who are in the process of making a move, but also we have to protect our realtors who, you know, their livelihood depends on this. Like they have to be able to pay their bills and keep their lights on as well. So, you know, there's two big aspects.
And also with the same thing with the clients, I mean, it just, you know, there was just such a swing, you know, between, you know, some people believed one thing and some people believed another. And it was just, you had a lot that you had to deal with regard to, you know, educating the client, your sellers and buyers, and just seemed like it was, you know, every day something different, you know, like a contract falling apart because of COVID. Everything was because of COVID. So,
yeah. Yeah. All right, Andrea, Jennifer.
The world was ending.
Yeah. Andrea and Jennifer, how did you guys, or did you have to adjust your leadership style with your team during that time frame?
I think an interesting thing was oftentimes they'd come to me and say, okay, well, this just changed how, you know, and I'd say, okay, let's just pivot. And here's how we're going to pivot. Constantly saying, here's what we need to do. And here's our mindset that we need to take. And here's how we're going to pivot, you know, and then we would, you know, there was one of the brokerages that came out with their own COVID form. And then we would get that sent to us. And I would say, okay, now here's how we can react to this. Here's what we can do. You know, there's an actual COVID form. You know, there's different things that kept coming at us. And here's how we need to pivot. So constantly thinking of the mindset of we just need to pivot and we just need to stay positive. And, you know, there's always something that we can do that's positive in this and stay out of the drama. You know, so, and I think that's what we try to focus on, stay in the facts, stay out of the drama, and, you know, try and stay out of the negativity, you know, so, and that's really what we were always trying to focus on, because there was a lot of drama, there was a lot of things that came up, you know, and you could stay really in the negativity and the fear. And I think that the anxiety and the fear were really brought up huge on the team and a lot of different situations. And I think that trying to stay out of that was really, you know, what I could bring as a leader on the team.
Hey, Allison.
Hello, superstar.
Superstar team member just walked in, didn't realize she was going to be put on the spotlight.
Winning.
Hey,
just bringing our checks. Yay.
Hey, winning. So, Andrea, did you have to make any adjustments or shifts in your leadership style or with your team?
Yeah, I think more than ever, well, one, no matter what happens, we always have a weekly team meeting. You know, it doesn't matter, like if I'm out of town or if I'm here, whatever, you know, homeschooling the kids was a little weird that first 9 weeks and fitting everything in. But you know, I made it very clear to the team that that was very, very important because we couldn't meet in the office for a while, and we still kind of don't. I mean, everybody just kind of floats in here and there because you know, we still keep our distance just to protect one another. But I think that fear, you know, it was with the clients, but it was also with the agents. And it was really apparent in the beginning because we didn't know. And what I will say is I am often thankful that I have a finance background because every week, one of the things that I ended up doing was briefing them on the sales trends, the price trends, you know, any numbers I could pull that, you know, numbers I always say don't lie. I could show them like, look, there are more buyers than there are houses. Like this week, mortgage rates are at this percent. So if you bought a house last year for, you know, this much less, you still had a higher payment. So we need to make sure we're communicating all of those things. And so I think, you know, in our team meetings, it wasn't just reviewing what we have under contract, what listings we have coming. It also became where, you know, I really had to focus on what the numbers looked like in our local Pinellas County, what they looked like in the state, the country, and really communicate that to them because depending on the personality, you had people that were in total fear, but you also had agents who were like, should we start calling the investors now because the market's going to crash? And I just remember snuffing that. I'm like, there's no way that that's what's going to happen right now. Like we're, you know, if people are running from up north, they're coming here, which, you know, we've seen now that to be true. I mean, we're in the perfect spot for it. So, you know, I think it was getting over that hump. That's been a really big thing. And just making sure that, you know, I'm not only reassuring the clients everything's going to be okay, but remembering the agents, even the ones that have 20 years experience on our team, still need that reassurance, you know, and that virtual pat on the back, really.
Yeah. And you had a lot of I think you answered a lot of the question that Jennifer Thayer has in our chat box. She said, what did you do to keep your team together when it initially seen that COVID was going to cause a crash? And so Andrea, what I heard you did was you just went into kind of some of the financial facts and statistics of the housing industry to reassure. Do any of you guys have anything that you'd like to add to that question that Jennifer posed?
We did the same thing. We did our meetings through Zoom. Obviously our team meetings through Zoom every week. We stayed connected. Again, doing all the same things that Andrea mentioned, you know, just keeping everybody informed with regard to the facts. And just like Jennifer said, keeping everybody positive was really the biggest thing because there was just like, there was fear in some people and, you know, so it was a lot, but it's just staying focused and staying with the facts and staying connected, really.
All right, ladies. So what is the big goal for 2021? Now that you've figured out how to navigate this crazy real estate world with the COVID pandemic, you soared in your numbers. What is the goal for 2021? Andrea, you want to get us started?
Are we talking like numbers or are we talking like the way we're going to run our business? Give me some
volume or
details. I know you have something in mind. What was
volume,
that?
Volume and or transactions.
Right now, you know, we're in the middle. It's funny. I always wait till January and we're in the middle of doing we do those 10-minute business plans with the team. I think Lisa Spencer taught them to me like way back when, and I love those things because again, numbers don't lie. So we're going through that right now. And I think now that the team has a bigger grip on, you know, what it's probably going to look like the next year and how we're going to manage it, what's going on with inventory, I think that's really helped. So we certainly have better strategies behind us. So our goal for this year is it's landing somewhere between like 75 and 100 mil.
Yeah, there's a big gap between 75 million and 100
I
million.
know, and I'm not done. I'm sorry. I still have like to meet with.
All right, awesome.
That's like our projections. And we have a new hire too who's doing awesome. So I really want to get his numbers.
Okay. Is that Jesse?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse is doing great. I love that.
Yeah, he's awesome. So he wants 100 mil this year. So I told him, let me just finish doing the math here. And then we did it.
Great. All right, Becky, what is your team's big goal for 2021?
Well, we did our business planning in December and kind of broke down everybody on the team, their personal goal, where they wanted to be. So it kind of ended up being, we're at like a $62 million goal, 155 units. So that's our goal.
I was fortunate enough to be part of that meeting, and I just want to point out that so Becky's goal for 2020 was 40 million. And by October, they had already surpassed that, and so it was like, okay, let's push it to 50, and then they ended up with just over 50. But
I barely made it.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I know Allison is sitting beside you, and I just remember Allison saying that they had to keep reminding you. But Becky, the goal was 40 million. We've already passed it.
I think I was going to have a heart attack if one of those closings didn't close in December and we missed the 50 million. I was going to have a heart attack.
That's what leaders do. We like to stress over those little details. And
I know.
that we're doing it. We just have to go get like more highlights put in an extra.
My poor team, I tell you, December was a little stressful.
Yeah, right?
I love that. All right, Miss Orns, what is the big goal for the Orns solution in 2021?
December was crazy. I agree. Everybody wanted to do a transaction in December. It was absolutely not.
Yeah.
It was. And Becky, we had the pleasure of doing a transaction with you in December. So thank you so much. And you knew how crazy that transaction was. We had, anyway, horrible lender that we had to deal with. And we had the buyers. So sorry about that. Okay, so we did our goals. Right, it closed, thank God. Okay, so we had our goals.
Totally forgot all about it, man. So
sorry. Right. Thank God. It's like childbirth. If you remembered it, you would never have another baby, right? Okay, so we did our goals as well, our business, financial, personal as well with our team. We have one more missing persons that I want to put out there. So we are looking for another agent as well on our team. But right now, currently, we have a stretch goal of 55 million volume. And so, but we do have a missing persons. I've already spoken to Rachel about it. So we're looking for another member. But we have big, huge goals. And then, so we're incredibly excited about it. But myself doing a huge study on goals as well. And I'm also reading the 4 disciplines of execution. Because if you don't have, if you don't do that, if you can set goals, but you don't execute them, then you have nothing.
Yep, right here. My team loves that I have them reading it.
I don't have it handy because I think it's right next to my bed right now because I'm reading it.
Well, that goes into the next, I mean, you guys all brought this up, but that is part of the question. What or who do you need in order for you to help you hit your goal for 2021? So Jen, you started describing you have a missing person. Tell us a little bit more about who that missing person is, and maybe we can help you find that missing person. Jen?
We need an agent. We need another agent on our
Tell
team.
us a little bit about
that.
Tell us a little bit about what that agent needs to look like. What are you looking for in somebody?
An ID or DI.
Tell us a little more. Come on, give me a job description. Give me a description of the person that would be a perfect fit for that role.
We're looking for somebody, actually we allow agents on our team to be a listing agent or a buying agent. So but we're looking for an agent on our team. So a real, an actual agent, so.
I know there's more. What are your expectations? What type of personality, passion do you want them to have?
I want them to be coachable and, you know, they can call me and we'll go over a job description, but I want them to be want to do at least 2 transactions every month. So.
And is there an expectation of them showing up in the market center or making phone calls or holding open houses? Like, what does that look like?
No, they do not have to show up in the market center. So
They have to make phone calls.
Yes, they have to make phone calls.
How many phone calls do they have to make? What is your
At least, our expectation on our team is at least 5 a day,
at least
5 contacts a day.
Okay.
So that's a minimum expectation.
Okay. She's being easy. She's not telling me. She's not telling me exactly what she wants, but that's okay. You'll get everybody calling you. I'll try and weed it out for you. Andrea, Becky, what or who do you need in order for you to help hit your goal in 2021?
Well, so we actually, like what I was just saying, we just brought on another buyer's agent because I think, you know, in this market, we realized really quickly our agents were getting a little overextended. And, you know, when you start seeing that, that's when you know you're missing a person. And that's sort of what was on our radar. And, you know, we found someone from one of the KW offices and he's been working out great. We love it. And then another thing that we realized earlier this year is that, you know, I was working till like 10 or 11 at night, which is crazy because I also have 2 small children at home. And I think, you know, we forget that you can't really be present with your family or your business when you're being pulled back and forth by both. So it was a goal of mine, even though I'm the type of person that just wants to do everything myself. I hired my own assistant and someone that can help me with our marketing efforts because I kind of just had kept control of all of that for the last 6 years. So that was a big step. And as you guys probably know, we hired Abby Sasser because she was like marketing queen. And yeah, you know her. She's awesome. And that's been really life-changing for me because it's helped me connect with our clients more. And really my job should be talking with them while my agents are out and about. And it's given us some new perspective on our marketing initiatives and just kind of taken a big chunk of work off my plate, which helps me be more available to our database and our agent team.
And your family.
Yeah, it's important. So
yeah.
That was a big step for us. So we're probably okay right now, but the last quarter of the year really, you know, opened our eyes to what we needed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Miss McConnell.
Well, I think, you know, I have an amazing team right now, and I've added a lot of leverage this past year mostly because I had to. So we're always looking for new talent. We're always looking for, you know, talent to join the team. And as a matter of fact, when we did our business planning meeting in December, we kind of had a missing person also, because I do a lot of the transactions, and part of my goal for this year is to also leverage that so that, like Andrea, that I'm not doing as many transactions as I did last year. I just don't know how that's going to happen. But it was interesting that, you know, when we sat down with the team and everybody broke down their goals, and, you know, when you break it down step by step and they realized when they came back the next week, you know, we don't need that missing person. We can do more. Like, you know, that's kind of what their attitude was. They're really, you know, excited and pumped. And so we'll see. But again, we're always looking for talent. But I'm very fortunate. I have a great team that really, I couldn't have done it without them last year. So I'm excited to see what this year brings.
Awesome. I love that. Well, I didn't prepare you guys with this question, but it's an important question. And so, I've really been talking about this a lot the last week. And so I want to ask you guys, how has life changed for you since you got into real estate? So for some of you, it might be 10, 11 years. Andrea, I think you said like 5, 6 years that you've been running the team.
Yeah, full time. I think it's been about 6 years now.
How has life changed for you since you've gotten into real estate?
Well, I left a corporate career right before I came into this. So what I will say is it's certainly given me more flexibility to spend more time with my family. It's also reminded me, you know, to go back to those basics of management because, you know, when you have a team, you're not managing salaried employees, you're managing people whose incomes are based on commission. And, you know, if something's not going right, it'll keep you up at night wondering if they're going to make their goals and be able to support their families throughout the year. So I think it's definitely a shift in mindset, because the responsibility that I feel for my team is certainly different than the responsibility that I had when I managed a team of, like salaried professionals that were on a 9-to-5 schedule. Now, I'm in touch with them all the time. So, we have more flexibility, but you also have to be more flexible, I think, too, because it's just, it's a different animal. So that was kind of an eye opener. You sort of forget about that piece till you come back into it.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. You gotta be, what did you say? You gotta be more flexible and something. I lost it.
You get more flexibility. It's easier for me to like block time off to spend with my family, take a vacation. The team handles stuff for me. They're great. But I also need to be more flexible because my agents might need me at like random hours if they're in a pinch on a contract or something. So, it's a give and take for sure.
Okay. I love that. Thank you. Jennifer, how's life changed since you started in real estate?
I had the business before and doing mortgages, and I actually learned so much from that business, and I thought that I knew how to run a business, and I realized that I didn't. And then I ended up going bankrupt with that business, and I put my all into it, and then I started out in this business and grew this business. And what I've learned from doing 2 businesses has been just a huge eye opener. And I've grown so much from it. And this business is amazing. I've grown so much and learned so much. And it's just incredible. Everything that you can jump into with Keller Williams, all the classes that you can take, all of the education that you can jump into. It isn't just because they're saying take the classes just because. It's actually helps you outside in your personal life as well. Honestly, it really does. It has helped me so much in other areas as well, because even in the Reedy and Red show, I listen to it, and you can listen to it while you're just getting ready in the morning, seriously. And they're Wednesday you have Wealth Wednesday. It's helping you outside of your world, outside of your business world. And it's helping you with your goals just outside. And it's really great information to help you to grow you in a full life, and not just in a business world, just in real estate. And I challenge people to grow and take advantage of everything that you have, that Keller Williams has to offer. And I'm not trying to bleed red Keller Williams and be a Keller Williams Nazi or anything. I'm just saying that it is, yes, thank you very much. I drank the Kool-Aid. but it really has, just running my business from before and doing something now differently, and it really taking advantage of all the education it has to offer, and reading the books and really jumping in with everything. It's giving me a growth that I could have never, in a life that I could have never have imagined.
Thank you for that. Thank you. All right, Becky.
Well, so similar to Andrea, I came from, retail management for 20 years. I've always led or managed people for many, many years. And I think that was one of the reasons why it took me so long to build my team, because I just didn't want to do that anymore. I just wanted the flexibility, but you get to a point where you realize you can't do it without building a team. And so it's changed. It's put me back into that. And I realize how much I missed it. And I think that, it's just changed everything for me since I built my team, obviously. But, since being in real estate, the biggest change for me is just, like when I got into real estate, things were really, really bad. And, it has helped us. We've worked hard, and it's really helped us fulfill a lot of dreams that we've had. And I don't know, my life has changed 100%, but,
I guess for me, the question is, could you ever imagine in 100 years when you got started in real estate, you would be where you are now? And for me, that answer is no. And so I just think it's such an amazing journey we get to go on, of development in all areas of our life.
It's fun to be able to help people. I always tell my team, we're not doctors or, and we don't save people's lives like that, but we help them to get to their goals and their dreams. And for me, that's so amazing to see them so happy, and it's so incredible. It's such a great feeling.
Yeah, well, I posted this on Facebook yesterday. Name the professions that you know that are impacted by the real estate world. And it's like everything you can possibly think of, right? Like I was driving down the street and there's a nursery. I'm like, oh, well, that supports the real estate world, because without houses and landscaping, that nursery wouldn't need to be in business. Everybody that works at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, it goes so deep that how essential our industry is, and your jobs are, your careers are. So thank you for putting so much of your passion into what you do. It shows up in your numbers, and it shows up in your team. It shows up in their lives, and then also all the customers that you also have the opportunity to touch. Just gonna open it up to see if our chat room, if anybody in there has any more questions. I did type that in there. Please feel free to ask. And any last things that you guys would like to say before we switch over to our individual top agents. So we got our top teams here. We're going to switch over to our top individuals. Any last comments?
Buy good eye cream.
Bye.
We're on a team.
Which
was our joke. We're like, just pat it on, guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be a late night.
What's the good one, Andrea?
Yeah.
Share.
Which one? What's your eye cream of choice, Andrea?
Oh, mine? I use that Clinique All About Eyes. Gotta love it. Can't use too much of it. I probably have some in my purse. I'm always putting it on.
Just
I'm a little tired after reading all the little lines on the contract.
Well, I know Audrey Sartain is watching, so I'm just going to say, Audrey, make sure you get me some of that. Jake has a hand raised, but I don't see an actual question, and I don't know what to do with it.
You know what? One just popped up. Do you see that one, Rachel?
Is a team worth having? Trying to decide on that. Great question.
Well, I'll go first. I'll say yes, because you know what? I don't know if I would be capable of handling, multiple clients and multiple listings and still being able to take a week vacation with my kids to go hiking or take them, wherever. And that's been really important to me. And having a team allows me to get away and recharge. I usually come back, with new ideas, more energy, and everything's okay. Like everything is fine when I get back. There's no fire alarms. My admins have helped me with my transactions, and the agent team helps with the buyers and sellers that call in. Like there's always someone there that can help. So, if you find the right people, it can just, sky's the limit.
Perfect.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you did it yourself for so long, Becky. I don't know how you did it.
Yes, exactly.
You were a machine.
Troy says a team will make.
I think it just depends on your goals. It depends on what you want to achieve, and you can only achieve so much by yourself, so if you're okay with, not having time off and not having, just working by yourself, then that's great. But you can only do that for so long. And if you want more, like most of us do, it's going to come a time where you need to put a team together. But I think, like Andrea said, it's really important that you have the right people on your team. That's the biggest key, is finding the right people and training and coaching.
So Troy says a team will make you crazy for 5 years and sustainable forever. I love that. Thank you, Troy. And Shova says, how do you find the right team members?
Hire slowly.
Call Rachel.
Yep, call me. Go through the career visioning process. Don't put anybody brand spanking new on your team. There's Rachel's 3 rules.
Word of mouth. Like, Jen, Becky, where did you find your agents? Because mine's been mostly through word of mouth. Like someone knows someone that's great, and then we want to talk to them. Is that kind of how you guys are doing it?
Well, I mean, most of mine have come from within the office. And word of mouth. Yes.
Yeah.
Within the office, and then we'll take them through the career visioning. Because that's a very slow process, and then you make sure that you don't make a mistake.
Yeah, I love the career visioning process because it's not just about the person you're interviewing, it's how they align with your behavioral style and skill set as well. So I love going through that process. That's one of the things I enjoy the most is helping you guys find talent for your teams. So Shova says, thank you all for your amazing, and thanks.
Troy.
Thanks, you all are amazing. Congratulations. Troy says, teach, ignite, and poach the best students. Yes. We've always said that one too. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to transition you guys out of here, and we've got our individual agents coming in, so please stay tuned for them. And everybody, please give a shout out to Becky, Andrea, and Jennifer. Give a shout out on Facebook and social media and just say thank you to them. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. I'll take you out, Jen. There we go. All right. Next up, we have Miss Jennifer Thayer, Miss Dawn Fader, and Mr. Jody Staples, who, he was able to make it. Yay. Okay, so you guys are all popping in. There's Dawn. Hey, lady. How are ya? How's little Finn? Little Finn all healthy and everybody good?
He's healthy and happy, yep.
All right. Well, for some reason, it didn't pop the other. Oh, the other two don't have. Okay, let me take Andrea out. This is what happens when they. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi.
Oh, we got all three. I can count. There's 4 of you. Woo! All right, guys. We have just a few seconds before our 1 o'clock, and I just kind of wanted to get these. So I'm going to let you guys, if you don't mind, give me 2 seconds. On the right hand panel. And feel free to chat on your own. I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Those real windows behind you, Jody? Or is that a bag?
It's a real flimsy screen. So.
It's a screen?
Yeah, it's a screen.
Oh, I like it. It's
Thank
nice.
you. Yeah, when COVID lasted more than a week, I figured I needed to do a little decorating.
Looks good, looks good.
Thanks. Are y'all at the St. Pete office or beach?
St. Pete.
St. Pete.
I'm at the beach office.
Gotcha.
How about you?
Seminole. I started at St. Pete and then helped launch Seminole and just stayed there.
Cool.
How long have you both been in?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been in at Keller Williams?
I think since 2012, 2013, something like that.
Awesome.
I've been about 2002.
Very cool.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
I'm a
A bit newer. I started off in 19, so
Okay,
a little bit
cool.
newer. Yeah.
Very cool. Interesting time to start.
I know, right? I've been licensed for years, but yeah, just transitioning over to Keller Williams.
Cool.
Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Where were you before?
Smith and Associates,
Okay.
Downtown?
downtown.
Sorry, I'm trying to do it from my phone. I thought I was going to be on the road doing this. So I got in just in time and it started from my phone. So I'm trying to set it up so I can see.
No problem. Well, I feel like I'm the only one with the boring background. Even the team earlier, I've got one picture and lights.
I've got a big mouth on me, so.
Don, you actually look the busiest. Jody, it looks like you're enjoying your
Oh,
space.
it's relaxing.
I love that backdrop. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was on a Zoom call with Murray Coleman,
Mhm.
and he made a comment. It looked like I'm broadcasting from prison, you know, anything else. So I thought, okay, you know, I got to do something here.
Hey, Rachel, you still have Andrea's image on? At least it's on mine.
I just took it down. It should be gone by now.
Uh,
So you can go up to the, thank you for saying that, Jen. You can go up to the top right corner and click speaker view.
got it.
Okay, good. All right, awesome. All right, guys, thank you for being here today. We have representatives from our downtown Gulf Beaches and Seminole offices, so we're super excited. And, you know, I love the format of this because we get to look at teams and what they've done. And then there are so many individual realtors out there that are like, okay, maybe I don't want to build a team. Maybe I do want to build a team, but I just want to know, how do I get to the top as an individual? So I love that you guys are here. I wanted to start off, if you guys don't mind, just give us your name and how long you've been in the business. And Dawn, we'll start with you.
I'm Dawn Fader. I've been in the business for about 18 years.
Wow.
Keller Williams the whole time.
Really? Born and
Yeah.
raised.
Yeah.
All right, Jody?
I guess it depends on how you count it. I originally got my license back in like 95 and was doing commercial, and then went to law school, used my license representing some of my clients. But as far as just being in real estate, you know, doing residential and having it as a primary business, it's probably 7 years.
Okay. And then Miss Thayer?
Got licensed back in 2005. I started off in developer services, did that for a while. When the market downturned, I went back into outside sales and then came back in 2015.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I just want to share a little unknown story or unknown fun fact. Before I had any idea what I was doing in real estate, and way before I joined Keller Williams and knew how to build a team, Jennifer and I actually partnered up at our previous brokerage and attempted a team. Had no idea what I was doing though, Jen. So, you know, I think that's just funny because a lot of people have no idea about that. So.
No, it was definitely, you know, it was such a tough time, and I wasn't at that time really skilled to transition. I was on developer services, so it's a very different transition for me to have done that, and at a weird time. And now it's a completely different, you know, time in the market.
Yeah, a completely different weird time, right?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So guys, go ahead and share, what was your 2020 volume and number of transactions? Who wants to go first?
My volume was about 12.8.
Okay.
And that was 20 transactions.
Okay. Jody?
My volume was just about 48 million, and I had 41 transactions.
Well, I think I'll just be quiet now then. Where's the little ports? I have to go to that one. So now my volume, let me see. My volume was about 6.3 million and 7 sides in that. So, but that was about, I think I worked about a quarter of the year. So
yeah,
that's fantastic.
That's what I was going to say, Jody. Jody is also our does compliance for our Seminole office, and I don't think you really got back focused on to your real estate sales business until about when, Jody? When did you really start putting the effort in?
are you talking about last year or just when I got back to? I mean, last year, you know, I have 2 parents that are in their late 70s with health issues that I take care of, and you know, and I'm a single dad. So when COVID hit, that kind of shut me down, you know, really until kind of late fall. And so, you know, I did maybe close to $1 million the first 3 quarters of the year, and then a little over 5 million, you know, from October to December. So.
Fantastic.
All right. So, well, that's one of the questions I have, Jody, and you can keep us going with that. It's like, when we did have stay-at-home order put in place and COVID pandemic was hitting right here at home, what changed? What happened in your business? What challenges did you have, and how did you respond?
Well, I mean, the biggest challenge, I mean, everybody was challenged, but my response from a business was horrible. You know, my response was take care of my family. That's not the horrible part. But what I did was I didn't continue doing the things that I do to grow my business. I wasn't lead generating. I wasn't marketing myself. I wasn't doing all the things that I do on a regular basis to keep my business going. You know, it basically shut down, take care of my parents, take care of my daughter. And, you know, I realized that once we started learning how to live with COVID, you know, that I needed to make some money. So, you know, around September, you know, I started getting back to what I normally do, you know, putting myself out there, my social media, the format that I kind of follow with social media to lead gen, you know, kind of how I get myself positioned in my sphere to get leads, and, you know, it just started producing results again, fortunately.
Thank you for that. And thank you for showing me your format for social media as well. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Dawn, what impacts did COVID and all of 2020, how did that impact, or did it change your business?
Well, I completely stopped dead in my tracks. I was very afraid. A lot of people were witness to that on a Zoom meltdown that I had. I have a 3-year-old and I have living parents, and I was petrified. So I stopped working. I was a full stay-at-home mom, and I didn't do anything, nothing. I didn't do, it sounds crazy, I didn't do mailings because I didn't want the mailman to touch my mailbox. I mean, and anybody knows me, I'm not a germaphobe at all, in the least. But I was really scared. I just didn't want anything to happen to my son. I was worried for my parents. And so I just stopped. So April, May, and June, I played in the backyard, and we went around and did our chalk drawings, positive messages in the streets for my farm area. I talked to a lot of people, and I think I absorbed a lot of their fear, like clients and neighbors. I think I did absorb some of their fear. There were a lot of questions that were being asked of me that I didn't know the answers to. And so I was scared. I was really scared. So I literally stopped everything. And I was a mom. I actually, it was pretty fun, actually. I like it.
Well, you know what's pretty crazy is you stopped doing everything. And thank you for sharing that story, because I know so many people relate to that. It was a time where you didn't know how to move forward, and so many people did stop, but you still closed 12.8 million.
Yeah, and the thing about that is I work a geographic farm on Treasure Island, which is probably where 85% of my business comes from. And so April, May, and June are always my busiest 3 months of the year. And I had 0 closed transactions during April, May, and June. I had a conversation with my accountant. She was trying to get my numbers for me so I could do estimated payments. I said, I'm pretty sure I'm done for the year. That was after like 1.7. So I truly believe another penny for the rest of the year.
Wow. I want to.
And then July hit.
And then what hit?
And then July hit. I was very wrong.
Well, I'm going to come back to that. I just want to jump in and say, Jennifer, what did you notice any change? Well, I know that you did, yeah. So what changes happened in your world, in your business?
Well, like Dawn, I thought that this was it. It was the collapse. And I have a business manager, right, who's tremendous. So I'm more fear-based, right? So I really got concerned, and I got concerned for my clients. The first thing I did was, because understand in April, they shut down condos, and that is my primary business. And so I could no longer enter condos. I couldn't even do FaceTimes in condos. I couldn't see anyone. So, you know, I basically was like a telemarketer, but not in the sense where I was looking for business. At this point, I'm just making sure everyone's okay and how's your families. And so I just really focused on that, focused on watching the market. And, you know, so my business had shifted. But then all of a sudden, once the gates open, let's say, and we were allowed to start entering back in, we had all these rules that we had to follow. You know, I think it produced real buyers and real sellers. Like, sellers are always real, but, you know, people who were absolutely certain. And the conversation was then, where am I going to live? So it was, I felt that everyone was much more real. I wasn't getting the tire kickers, you know, someone who just wanted to come in and see a cool condo. So that was a great adjustment for me. And Jennifer, so Jenny Jones had really, she's the organized side of me. So if you know me, Jenny's really organized. So she really kept on track and kept notes on everyone. So when we were ready to go again, we were able to hit it pretty hard.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's so true. You know, all three of you have had serious impacts to your life and to your business last year, and all three of you found a way through it. And I love that. I love that you shared that. So just with that being said, knowing that what you know now, getting through what you were able to get through, what is your goal for 2021? Don, we'll start with you.
My goal is probably 50 million.
Probably.
Yeah.
By the way, I think it's important that everybody knows where you guys focus, because they might have business that they can refer to you. So Don, you focus in Sunset Beach. That's your farm area.
Yeah.
How long have you lived there?
Since 2001.
Okay, because I know Vonda Golub in our downtown office had posted on one of the closed groups looking for a place in Sunset Beach. I'm like, Don Thayer, duh.
Yeah, she texted me yesterday.
And hopefully you guys can put a deal together.
Yeah, yeah.
Jennifer, everybody knows, well, I hope everybody knows, and if they don't, you did developer services and the sellout of the one condo in downtown St. Pete. I mean, it's kind of, you know that one inside and out, but you are a downtown luxury condo specialist, but you also do single family residential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually COVID taught me that I really need to start diversifying a little bit more, because when I couldn't get into a condo, my business shut down. I mean, I went over a month without any business. So, yeah.
Over a month without any business and still closed 48 million.
You know, I will say though, I'm really blessed. It's a different market, right? So my transactions are typically over 1 million, you know, on average. And so that's a huge benefit. Working in developer services, having met so many people so quickly, but my background is also on-site. I mean, on-site, I was doing on-site, that was great. But I did outside sales. So my sales background is very different. I mean, I was door knocking, working for salon lofts. I worked for a nutrition company, working with doctors. So we had quotas to meet. So I was always focused on the clients, right? Because I had to be at so many places per day, but I didn't track numbers. I think I'm very different that way. I don't track numbers, although Jenny Jones does. So I'm very happy that she's with me. But I really just track making sure I get to as many people in a daytime as I feel is necessary to keep my business going strong.
Love that. Thank you for that. Jody, do you have a specialty or farm area, or is it your sphere?
A sphere is number one. You know, I seem to end up on the beaches a lot, but you know, I really kind of go where my sphere is going, and that's what I work more. You know, that probably should be more of a focus to follow up, you know, on an area and areas that I'm very familiar with. But sphere is number one for me.
Okay. So guys, wanted to ask you this question. Jody, how long have you been with Keller Williams?
Since 2012, 2013, somewhere in that area.
Okay. And Jen, how long have you been with us?
2019, end of it.
And then Don, born and raised, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So each of you might answer this question a little differently, which is what we want. So, what's one of the most valuable trainings, books that you've read, or classes that you've attended that has helped you get to the level that you are?
For me, it's always been family reunion and mega camp. I've gone many years, and to me, honestly, I love the panels from all around the country, and I love to hear what other people are doing. And if you get one little nugget out of every panel that you sit in on, it's worth the price of admission. So that to me has always been the most important training that we offer.
Okay. Are you doing the virtual experience of family reunion?
I would like to, but I did it with Mega Camp, and it's hard for me because I don't have a nanny right now for a 3-year-old. So it's hard for me to sit in front of a computer for extended periods of time. So if I can, I will. I will try to, yes.
Well, the good thing is they're all recorded and you have access to the recordings with your registration. So
that's true. There you go.
Just a little plug. Family reunion is February 15th through the 18th. It is a virtual experience, and we can put the link in here so that everybody can get registered to experience what Dawn has experienced. So, Jody, what's one valuable training that you've been to, book that you've read, or class that you've attended that's helped you get to the level that you're in?
There are a lot of things to choose from here. But I would say probably, I mean, I know I probably should say MREA, but that was more helping me kind of get my business focused. The thing that was probably the most impactful was Gary Keller's The One Thing. I mean, that really kind of brought it home, especially when, I kind of went back to residential. I thought, because the things that I was selling for my clients or helping them buy, I thought I was kind of a big timer, but I was kind of shooting fish in a barrel. I wasn't lead generating. I wasn't having to make my own business go. And so, where MREA helped me kind of get that focused, that combined with Ignite and Bold, I'm all over the place. I'm doing open houses, I'm doing cold calling, I'm doing door knocking, and not doing any of them well. I was doing just enough to get me frustrated, that maybe this isn't for me, maybe I should go back to law. That's kind of where I was at. And then, I read that, and it kind of brought things home. I realized that, I can't do everything well. I need to figure out what I do well, focus on that, get really good at it, and then start adding on to that from there. So instead of being a shotgun all over the place, I need to kind of be a sniper, pick what I'm good at, go after that, just hone it, keep tweaking it, and then start building on it. And that really changed things for me. It helped me not only increase my business, but decrease the amount of time working. I became much more efficient because my systems got better, my processes got better. So I would say probably The One Thing.
I love that. Thank you, Jody. All right, Jennifer, what's a valuable training, book that you read, or class that you've attended that helped you get to the level that you're in? And you've only been with Keller Williams a short period of time. It doesn't have to be a KW thing. It could be anything.
Because I'm glad you let me get off the hook on this one, because I've been so bad with that. So I have a lot of training from different sales roles that I've done, and like Jody reminded me of a book when you were talking, Jody, called Outliers, which is a fantastic book, and I love that, which is you're really focusing on the things that you do well, and I think that's super important. One of my favorite books is called Speed of Trust, and Speed of Trust, it's like Stephen M.R. Covey. He's related to Stephen Covey. It's, I believe, the son. Absolutely love him. And it's, I focus on relationships, on how to develop relationships and how to trust somebody, and what that really means. And are you trustworthy is really the first step of it. Tremendous book, but I've done a lot of courses. One of them is spin selling. Spin selling focuses on the positives, right? If someone's going to ask you about, the rickety dock in the back of your waterfront property, you're going to talk about the water and how beautiful it is, right? And the access and the dolphins that swim underneath it, right? You're going to focus on the positive. Sandler Sales focuses on the fear, and then Dale Carnegie focuses on the relationship. So those are 3 courses I've been through, and a lot of others in my tenure in sales. So that's it.
I have a book with Sean Covey. Was it Sean Covey?
No, it's Stephen M.R. Covey. I believe it's his name. I definitely know it's Stephen Covey. The initials escape me, but I think it's M.R. Excellent.
Yeah, and I love that Dale Carnegie. I haven't been through the Dale Carnegie University, but I definitely have read How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that the lesson of that I carry with me every single day as I first blame myself of what could I have done differently in that situation instead of putting it on somebody else. So great information, great lessons that you've learned and shared with others. Thank you. By the way, Shobha has a question in here. She says, Jen, you said you have a business manager, and Shobha had asked a question of our team panelist earlier about whether or not she should start a team or stay on as an individual, which I know, Jen, that you go through that same process. But she asked if you could explain what is a business manager.
Okay. It's a contract coordinator, a marketing, expert. It is a organizer. It's all of it in one. I mean, I didn't even know what title to give her, Shobha. The truth is she does everything that I'm not doing. So when I talk about outside sales and I focus on running, I try to keep going all day long. I don't, I look at it more like a business. Monday through Friday, it's, people say 9 to 5. I wake up at 4, not on purpose. It just is the way. But by 7:30, I'm having a business discussion with Jennifer Jones, and we start the day that way. So she really is, so she's a contract coordinator, first and foremost. She does the marketing that I need through Canva or any other resource. And she's got a lot of vision and forethought on direction of things. And she knows my style, and she's my, you need to find someone who's your balance, and she's my balance. So that's kind of what she's all of it in one. It's, I think it's hard to find, but really finding the right contract coordinator first is what I would say is the most important thing.
She's your customer relations, she's your administrative assistant, she's your marketing specialist.
Everything.
Yeah.
How do you give a title to that? And I know she's watching, but she's fantastic. So, but yeah, she's kind of the everything, and I think she does the job of at least 3 people. So I hope she stays with me, but she's great.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah. She. We call that in our world a director of operations.
Okay, that is what she does. Yeah.
And are you a single agent? Don't have a team, and why not a team? Oh, and Jennifer says that she's blushing. I'm
sure she is.
I love that. All right, guys. What I already asked you. Oh, sorry. I asked Dawn what's the goal for 2021. I got 15 million out of her, and I think I got sidetracked. So, Jody, what's the goal for 2021?
My goal, and this probably doesn't even belong in the same category with the other 2. My goal is around 10 million. I'm not. Of course, I always want to make more, than less. But this business is not my number one priority. My daughter is. So, I've been able to find a good work-life balance. And so, I want to keep working about the same amount, but I want to do it smarter, and I want to do it better, and I want to keep refining what I do. So I think 10 million is, easily doable, maybe more. But, that's kind of the slot. I know I could, well, that sounds wrong. I know that I could run my business a lot harder. And, if I want to go back to the 90-hour, week that I used to do, I could do that. But then that's going to impact my ability to take care of my parents and be a good dad. So I think that's kind of a slot I'll fit comfortably in. I've been able to kind of fit, comfortably in the 6-7 million. And I kind of am becoming a lot more efficient at what I do. My processes are getting better. So I think it's doable and still, kind of be there for my family.
I love that, Jody. And I think it's so important that you're sharing that, because not everybody has the goal of, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. And your number one goal is your daughter. But we also understand we have to make money, right?
Right.
To support our family, to support our kids and our parents, we also have to make money. So you're in, and I'm sure you and Don could talk a long time on that thing right there, like that work-life balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that you share that, because it relates to a lot of people.
It works for me. I think that's where my slot is. I mean, when she gets a little older, and things are a little more settled, there's probably a whole different plan and a whole different goal. But right now I think that's my slot for 2021.
During COVID, you two did a road trip.
We did.
What was the road trip? Tell us about the road trip.
Started as a joke, but nothing was open for spring break. And so we were trying to decide what we're going to do. And, we have a puppy that's probably like my number 2. My daughter's number 1, then the puppy. And so we decided to take our dog on a road trip to all the best dog parks in Florida. And so we mapped it out, and we got in the car and loaded up and just started hitting dog parks and letting our dog play. And then we'd load up and go hit another one and sneak her into a hotel and sneak her back out. I probably shouldn't have said that. And then hit some more dog parks. And she had a great time. She's been all over the state and marked her territory everywhere.
Yeah, and I think you guys might have made a meal on the engine heat.
We did. Yeah, my daughter brought along some chips and stuff to make nachos, and she wrapped it in aluminum foil and cooked it on the warm engine block. And then at one of the dog parks, it looked great. She had some sliced lettuce and some sliced tomatoes and all the things for nachos, but she had them all in different containers, and she cooked on the engine block. And then it was just neat. It was a great picnic. That's
fun. Thanks for sharing that, Jody. All right, Jennifer, what's your goal for 2021?
Good question. And I know you asked in advance. I don't necessarily set goals, but I've got another agent who I've been using as, I call her my lieutenant, which is Morgan, and that's anything that I can't handle. I've been passing over to another agent, and she's been doing great. So I do have a goal of possibly growing a team. I'd like to sustain or get around 50 million or exceed that if I can. But really I'm, just focusing on the business where it's at.
Okay, thank you. I think it's important people here, like, we have all different perspectives here. And if you guys were in when the teams were sharing, they've met with their teams, they know what their team members' goals are, they've outlined their goals. I mean, like, they've really taken like a very deep dive into it. But that's not how everybody works. And that's the beauty of things like these panels, is because we get to speak to all different behavioral styles. And, Don, you said, I think maybe around 15 million, Jody, his goal is his daughter. That's his priority. And Jennifer, you don't really set goals, but, I have the privilege of having seen how you work. And I know you just run. I mean, run.
Yeah.
Fast and furious. Good luck keeping up with that one. So Jennifer Jones, kudos to you. So knowing what your goal is, understanding how you guys work, what is something that what's a resource or something that you need to help you ensure that you hit your goals for your financials and for your family in 2021?
Personally, I could use a transaction coordinator or a service or somebody to help me with help me and Tiffany and Renee with my paperwork and all that stuff that I really don't enjoy doing.
Well, then you shouldn't do it, because every time you do the transaction, that's time away from your son.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm sure we can help you with that. We can give you some good recommendations on that.
Thank you.
Jody, anything that you need, any resource support that you need to hit your goal for 2021?
I think for me, it's probably the same. Probably using a transaction coordinator. Someone, I don't remember who it was, but someone told me a couple of years ago it may have been Troy Walseth. I'm not sure actually who said this, but it was a saying, is what you're doing making you money? And it made me really check myself because, I do everything. I mean, just a one-man show, and, I do all the paperwork, and I do basically everything. And a lot of that isn't making me money. And so it's not helping me lead gen. It's a lot of just busy work that I don't necessarily have to do. So I need to be a little bit less of a control freak about that, and, focus on what's growing my business. I think that's going to make me even more efficient. That's probably the one thing that I really need to look at, because I spend too much time managing the business and handling the business, and not, doing what makes me money.
Thank you. Well, Jim, we know you have that great business manager so that you can focus on the things that will make you more money. What's one thing that you feel like you need in order for you to hit your goals for 2021?
I need to step back just for a little bit. You're going to be hearing from me on the whole team concept still. I'm definitely batting that around, because I've got good people that I'd love to have work with me. But at the moment, again, it's fast and furious. So I don't have kids. I don't have a dog. So I really am going, out the gate in 2021 really fast. And so right now it's just kind of managing where I'm at, but you'll be hearing from me.
So I think I have what you need. Let's see. Jennifer should start a team or go on as an individual. Reply, hi, Hazy, try again later. Jennifer Orns says, a coach said to me once, you are pushing around old money if you are doing your own transaction work. When you say yes to one thing, you say no to something else. All right, so
very true.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
Very true.
Start a team.
And if you really just weigh out what a transaction coordinator costs per transaction, if you just look at it straight up, you tell yourself, okay, I just need to hire them for the one. It's usually $350 on average. Oh, what is it now telling me?
It says signs point to yes.
So, but I would say that it is the most invaluable if you can just, keep swinging at the thing that you're best at, and that somebody else manage the other stuff. For $350 off that one paycheck, it will free up your time to meet with 2, 3, 4 other people, and that's where you're making your money.
That would be very well worth it. I feel like what Jody said, I am a control freak. I do everything by myself, every single thing. And for me, it's more $350. It's magical. I'd pay somebody double that to do my transactions. It's
Jen, you didn't hear that.
It's the actually relinquishing of the control that I need help with.
Well, I think it would help for you guys to understand that when you hire a transaction coordinator, you don't just hire them and say, go start doing it. You actually can interview them. Set expectations, let them know what you need and how to deliver it so that you feel like you're still tied to the transaction, so you can monitor how it's flowing, and then you can kind of baby step your way through it. Okay.
Well, it took me reevaluating and it's been actually the last couple of days preparing for this or thinking about this, but for the most part, I looked at it as I don't need help. I do compliance. I'm the one that sends stuff back when people don't do it right. I know how to do it right. I don't need somebody to do it right for me, but I didn't really think about it in terms of how much time it's going to save me until I started really thinking about, next year and what I need to do to be able to reach what I'm, the family time, daughter time, work time, and that's where really the savings are.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you've all done an amazing job in 2020. It was a rough year. It was a tough year, and you found ways to move through it and keep yourself going and your family going and your business going. So just want to say kudos to you for showing up and shining, and we love that. And just know that we're all here to support you with your 2021 goals, and we so appreciate you sharing so much vulnerability for today as well, because I know so many people have felt it, and they need to know other people are feeling it as well. So thank you guys for being here and sharing and for being so awesome. You guys are rock stars. And Jen, you and I will get together and talk about that team some more.
You got it.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.